We love cruising. It's been a huge part of our lives for years. We've spent months of our lives at sea, on ships, big and small, luxurious and basic, but lately something feels different. The prices keep on climbing, yet somehow the experience keeps shrinking. So today, we're asking the big question. Has cruising in 2025 finally gone too far? And is it becoming death by 1,000 cuts? This video is brought to you by Squarespace. And we're not just here to bash cruising because we really do love it. We've just noticed a worrying trend where little by little things are being chipped away and we're paying more and getting less. We're going to be looking at what's changing, which cruise lines are the worst offenders, and most importantly, how you can still get value for money when cruising.
Now, cruise lines will tell you it's all due to rising costs. Food, fuel, labour have all gone up significantly, and that is true. The world is a completely different place since 2020, but here's what doesn't quite add up. They're all making record profits.
Cruise lines have posted record profits in the last few years, with stock prices higher than ever. Major players like Carnival Corporation are reporting their strongest financial results ever, and demand remains sky high. The surge in profitability comes down to strong passenger demand, greater operational efficiency, and get this, increased onboard spending. There's no surprise there. Major cruise lines have successfully returned to profitability after significant losses during the pandemic, now posting multi-billion-dollar profits, and many have achieved all-time high revenues. Meanwhile, the industry welcomed nearly 35 million cruise passengers in 2024 alone. That's the highest in history. Ships are full, but prices are higher than ever. So why are we getting less for our money? Cruise lines still love to use the COVID recovery as an excuse, but come on, that ship has truly sailed, pardon the pun. The truth is, these cuts aren't about survival anymore. They're just about profit. And while we're not against businesses making money, it's starting to feel like cruise lines are seeing how far they can push passengers before we finally say enough. So first up, let's talk about dining, because this is where people are really noticing the cuts.
Dining used to be a huge part of the cruise experience. Endless menus, elegant service, and the freedom to order whatever you liked. But now more and more cruise lines are nickel and diming in the main dining rooms. Take Norwegian Cruise Line. You used to be able to order multiple main courses if you wanted to try something new. Fair enough, you're on vacation. But now you're charged $5 for a second main course. How generous. Menus have been shrinking too. Some cruise lines, including Princess, have quietly cut the number of dishes on offer, replacing higher quality cuts of meats or seafood with cheaper alternatives. Specialty dining, once an affordable splurge, has become eye-wateringly expensive. Restaurants that used to charge $25 to $30 per person are now charging $60 to $80 and even over $100 per person. That's more than a lot of land-based restaurants. And the portions have often shrunk while the price has doubled. And then there's the drinks. Carnival and MSC have both quietly reduced the number of drinks you can have per day on their beverage packages, so you pay more for the package, but you're getting less. We're currently sailing on a Princess ship, and even here, we've noticed cuts everywhere. Smaller menus, fewer drinks included, more a la carte pricing sneaking into the included dining venues.
Now, it's easy for the cruise lines to say, well, prices are going up everywhere, but the problem is when they're posting record profits, it just doesn't add up. When they're raising prices and reducing quality at the same time, that's not inflation, it's greed.
Another area that has taken a hit is entertainment. Remember when cruise lines used to put on big Broadway-style productions with huge cast, live orchestras, elaborate sets and full of energy? Well, for some cruise lines, those days are fading fast.
Norwegian Cruise Line used to be one of the leaders in entertainment. Shows like Kinky Boots, Jersey Boys, Six, Legally Blonde were all huge selling points. Many of those have unfortunately been replaced by cheaper jukebox-style shows, featuring smaller casts, pre-recorded tracks, even some miming, and no real live musicians. And it's not just the big productions. The number of live musicians around the ship have dropped too. We used to see big orchestras in the theatre supporting the main cast, but that's just a thing of the past now, which is so unfortunate. And all of these things are big cuts for the cruise lines. Trivia sessions, deck games, themed parties, many of these have been scaled back because there simply aren't enough entertainment staff on board anymore. And that leads us neatly to the next issue, the crew. The crew are the backbone of every single cruise. They're the reason most people like us have fallen in love with cruising in the first place. The smiles, the amazing service, the sense that nothing is ever too much. But unfortunately, these days they're being stretched thinner and thinner, with less and less crew being on board these cruise ships.
Several lines, including Norwegian, have cut cabin service to just once per day. No more evening turn down. Well, unless you're in a suite. That's not because cabin crew have suddenly got lazy, it's just because there are fewer of them. The people who are on board are working longer hours, covering multiple roles, and trying desperately to maintain the standards we expect. We've spoken to crew who are just exhausted. They care deeply, but morale is dropping. And when service feels rushed or impersonal, it's not their fault. It's the fault of the cost-cutting at the top. You can really feel the difference, waiting longer for drinks.
22 minutes and 35 seconds. We've got dinner in about 8 minutes. The crew are so lovely. It's not a crew problem, guys. The crew are so friendly, lovely, chatty, just very nice crew. Just not enough of them and far too many people at all of the bars.
Struggling to get assistance at guest services or noticing how housekeeping feels rushed. These are the small signs that tell you that a cruise line has trimmed too far. And now the issue of overcrowding. See, cruise lines have realised that they don't need to build brand new ships to add more capacity to their fleet. All they have to do is add more cabins to some of their older ships. And even when they're building brand new ships, we're seeing that public spaces are smaller with more and more cabins added to the ships.
Some ships have had extra cabins squeezed in during refits, cutting into that all-important public space. The result? Bars and lounges that feel absolutely packed, pool decks where finding a sun lounger is like winning the lottery, and restaurants where reservations are booked solid months before you have even boarded. We've experienced this so many times. If you're not there in the first couple of days of bookings opening on some cruise lines, you're not going to get anything, and that can lead to proper disappointment. And it never used to be like this before. This is very new. Even the newest megaships, despite being spectacular, can feel really oversold. Too many people, not enough space. We felt it ourselves. Waiting 45 minutes for a table for dinner, struggling to get seats in the theatre, or having to book shows and dining weeks, if not months in advance, just to get in. That's not what we like doing. Who wants to plan their vacation step by step, restaurant by restaurant, months in advance? You can change your mind on the day and not want to do something, but that flexibility's gone now because these ships are so busy, you have to be fully booked and prepared. And when the ship feels too crowded, the overall experience suffers, no matter how pretty the decor or how fancy the tech. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build your brand and share what you love online. One of the biggest things we've learned from running our channel is that people want more ways to connect and support the creators they love, and Squarespace makes that easy. With Squarespace member areas, you can create exclusive content for your audience, whether that's behind-the-scenes videos, travel guides, or even online courses. And you can build your online presence in no time with Squarespace's cutting-edge design tools like Blueprint AI, an AI-powered website builder that helps you create a professional-looking site in just a few simple steps. And instead of starting from scratch, you answer a few questions like what your website is for and what kind of design you like, and then it generates a fully custom website with layouts, content, and branding tailored to your needs. So if you're thinking of launching your own website, go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to publish, use our link squarespace.com/Ben and David to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Another growing trend is the shift of going to more private islands and resorts. Now, on the surface, this sounds fantastic. White sand, turquoise water, food and drink included. But private islands are also incredibly profitable for cruise lines. You're going to spend all of your money on excursions, cabanas, cocktails and souvenirs, and all of it is going straight back to the cruise line.
Now, we're not saying that all private islands are bad, and we love visiting these destinations as much as the next cruiser. But you've got to think about the bigger picture. They don't pay port fees, share profits with local businesses, and you don't get to experience the real culture of a destination. Now, we'll give credit where credit is due. MSC's Ocean Quay and Disney's Lookout Quay at Lighthouse Point celebrate the natural landscape and local culture of the destination, and they do it well. But for many others, it's becoming an easy way to lock you into a captive market. So while you're sipping that $15 cocktail on a private island, just remember, it's not a tropical escape, it's a floating city's backyard, designed to keep your wallet open.
We love cruising because we get to go to brand new places, but more and more often, especially companies like Royal Caribbean, they've announced loads of private resorts. Mexico, Santorini, the Bahamas. You want to go somewhere and experience the culture, but cruise lines are more and more adding these private resorts where in some cases you've even got to pay for them. We recommend staying away from this and doing the authentic destinations themselves. Not only are you going to actually save money, but you're going to enjoy it more, taking the culture, see the local people, and have a more authentic experience. It's really unfortunate because the whole point in cruising is that you get to see brand new destinations, soak up all of the cultures, and then if you like it, go back there longer for a longer time. It gives you a taste of what each and every place is like, and that's something we really love and don't want to lose.
Another area we've noticed quietly changing is shore excursions. Not so much in price, but how they are sold to you.
Excursion prices have gone up across the board. It's not unusual now to see $150, $250 per person for fairly basic tours that used to cost half that. But what's even more concerning is the new tactic of gaslighting passengers into thinking there are no alternatives. Take where we are today, Marseille in France. We've been here a few times before, yet over the loudspeakers we've been told again and again that the only way to reach the city centre is to take the ship's own transfer buses, of course for an extra fee. They even said there were no taxis available. This is a lie. It's simply not true. There's a huge taxi rank right outside the port. There always has been. We've used taxis here before. But this isn't unique to Princess Cruises, the cruise line we're sailing right now. We've seen similar tactics creeping in across several cruise lines. It's a subtle way of funneling you into their own overpriced tours and transfers, while pretending that they're doing you the favour. Our advice? Do your research, check online maps, read recent port reviews, look at local transport options, and watch videos like ours. Please do hit that subscribe button and the like button because it really helps us out, and we've got so much more interesting and informative content like this coming on our channel. And if you want to do something organised, we love doing it DIY in port. So doing a bit of research, looking at the top things to do in that port, using websites like Cruise Critic, TripAdvisor, just general YouTube videos, and then organising our day using local transport where possible. And this way we get to see things as a local, which is so cool. So we get to do all the things that a local would do without being dragged around in huge tour groups, being taken from one place to another place without script, having to wait for people. Now, we do always make sure we get back to the ship in time, because if you didn't know, if you do a shore excursion, you are guaranteed to get back to the ship in time and it won't leave. But if you use your time wisely and make sure that you plan with a few backups, you can save absolutely so much money, trust us. So if you do want to do something organised but not through the cruise line, try a reputable independent company like Shore Excursions Group. We've used them so many times and highly recommend them. Their excursions come with lots of guarantees to get you back on the ship on time, but they're usually half the price. We've got a link in our description section below so you can book your shore excursion now. We really recommend them. You'll often get smaller groups, better experiences, and far lower prices. Just don't let anybody tell you that there's no alternative, because there almost always is. Now, who's still doing it right? Because to be fair, not every single cruise line has went down the path of cutting basically everything.
Disney Cruise Line continues to deliver a premium experience with high quality food, entertainment, and cruise service that still feels personal. Yes, prices are high, but you genuinely get what you're paying for. Celebrity Cruises has also avoided most of the aggressive cost-cutting. Their food remains excellent, their entertainment is still creative, and the ships are well-staffed and beautifully maintained. And Royal Caribbean still offers world-class entertainment with huge production shows on some of their newest ships with a full live orchestra. So how can you fight back against all these changes and get the best value for money? Well, it all starts with how you book and how you spend.
First, vote with your wallet. Support cruise lines that still deliver value and don't treat guests like walking ATMs. If a company is slashing quality while ranking in billions of dollars, stop rewarding that behaviour. Second, be strategic when booking. Prices fluctuate wildly, so sail off-peak or avoid holiday seasons where possible, because this tends to be a lot more expensive. If you're more flexible, you can get some real good bargains. Now, after COVID, everything changed when it comes to booking a cruise. You used to have wave season. This was usually between January and March, where the prices were best. Now it's kind of unpredictable when to book. Sometimes you can get a deal far in advance. Sometimes you can get the best deals while booking last minute. You've just got to be flexible and you've got to do that work. Have a look at all of the websites, keep looking at them over time to see if prices go down, just to make sure you've got the best deal. This is where you could cancel your cruise without losing anything. Now, most cruise lines across the world will charge you your deposit, but we found in a few cases it can be worth losing that deposit and rebooking the cruise at a lower rate. So keep checking in the months up to booking your cruise, and then we recommend paying the final amount of your cruise at the very last moment. So only paying the deposit, then paying the balance just a day or two before that final deadline, because you can keep checking to see if those prices have gone down. Third, think carefully about packages. Do the math before buying that drinks package or Wi-Fi bundle. Many people overspend massively by assuming they'll need the top tier. Are you going to drink 15 alcohol drinks per day? Well, if you're not every day, it could be cheaper just to buy them one by one. Make sure that you do your research when it comes down to the cruise line and the cruise ship. Make sure it's got all of the things that you're going to enjoy most. If you love entertainment, pick a cruise line strong in entertainment. If you love live music, pick a cruise line that has good live music. Do all of your research and just have a look at what's included in the price as well. Are you going to book a cruise and have to book loads of dining, expensive drinks, shore excursions, things like that? Double check to see what's included, because it might work out cheaper to book a more expensive cruise line because it includes more. Look at Virgin Voyages, Viking Cruise Line. They include a lot more than other cruise lines. Things like Wi-Fi, gratuities, all your specialty dining. Viking Cruises includes a shore excursion in every single port. Now, you might pay a little bit more money up front, but it can save you an absolute fortune in the long run. So make sure you check everything that's included and add it all up. And finally, bring on board what you can. Bottled water, soft drinks, even alcohol drinks. Lots of cruise lines allow you to bring on a bottle of wine, some even a bottle of spirits, beer. So double check with your cruise line what you can bring on board. And do it because it can save you a lot of money on drinks and things.
The point is, you don't have to accept every new change and cut. And it's not going to ruin your cruise. You've just got to be a little bit smarter.
So where do we go from here? Because cruising in 2025 is at a little bit of a crossroads. Now, since COVID, cruising has bounced back massively, much more than the levels that we were seeing before COVID even started, which is really, really good. But somewhere along the way, it's lost a little bit of its soul. Now, before we give you our final conclusion, we want to say a big thank you to our patrons. Our patrons allow us to pay for our cruises and create honest and entertaining cruise content like this. You too can become a patron by clicking the link in the description section below. In return, we give you ad-free videos, early access to our videos, plus videos just made for you, full-length vlogs and episodes just like this. Plus, we do a monthly video chat and much more. So check out the description section below.
For us, the charm of cruising has always been about feeling looked after. The personal touch, the little luxuries, the sense of community on board. That's what really drew us to cruising in the first place. Those things don't cost billions to provide. They just require a little bit of care and love. We still love cruising. There's nothing like waking up to a new port every day, meeting the amazing crew, or watching the sunset from the open deck. We also believe in honesty, but we also believe that it is changing and it's time for the cruise lines to hear what the passengers are saying. We're noticing that you're cutting corners. We notice that you've cheaped out on experience while charging us more. So the next time you book a cruise, look closely and ask yourself, is this the cruise line earning my loyalty, or are they just taking it for granted? Because at the end of the day, the most powerful message we can send is a complaint email and choosing to spend our money somewhere else. But if they are doing it right, let them know too. If you have a great experience on your cruise, if you have that crew member that really made your vacation special, please let the cruise line know, because that does help them hear when they're doing it right.
Now, we absolutely still love cruising and recommend it as a fantastic type of vacation. And that's exactly why we refuse to stay quiet about this. We hate to see it being chipped away one little cut at a time. So if you're interested in more videos like this, click on the screen right now and check out another one of our videos. There's so much more information. So I guess that's it till next time. Happy cruising.